Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Auto Repair Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Walker, and today my guest is Rick White from 180 Biz, and we're going to be talking about differentiating your shop. Before we get into it, let's take a second to thank our sponsors. ShopBoss is software built by shop owners for shop owners. ShopBoss offers real solutions backed by real experience. Simply put, it's shop management software that works your way. When customers are in the lobby and cars are on the lift, you don't have time for a learning curve. That's where ShopBoss comes in, with profit-boosting features that work the way you need them to right out of the box. From built-in DVI to robust customizable reporting, ShopBoss makes everything about running a shop work more smoothly. Plus, with their Boss Pay Payments feature powered by 360 Payments, you can enter the era of totally paperless payments. From text-to-pay, remote payments, and consumer financing options, to compliance, surcharging, and now even offering PayPal and Venmo options. Everything is built right into ShopBoss. Plus, everything is backed by a fantastic support team with one goal in mind: your success. Be the boss with ShopBoss. Independent auto repair shops, get ready to transform your business with AppFueled. It's time for your professional auto service shop to have its own customer loyalty app. AppFueled will build an app that launches a custom loyalty program for your shop in 30 days or less, fully integrated with your point of sale system. Bring Fortune 500 level customer retention strategies to your business without the Fortune 500 budget. Many shops are enjoying the benefits. Our app engages your customers with a loyalty ladder, enticing them to climb the next rung, coming back more often and spending more each visit, all with your own app. Build loyalty with your customers to your brand and boost your shop's growth. Get your first app in 30 days or less, all without breaking the bank. Ready to start? Let AppFueled take your business to the next level. Go to appfueled.com or meet founder Jeremy Glasgow and book your complimentary app vision session at appfueled.com/Jeremy. That's appfueled.com/Jeremy. Hey, Rick, how are you?
Man, I am doing fantastic. Better than I deserve.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you with me today. We were just at Vision together,
Yep.
and we were talking about differentiation and talking about a common client that we have.
Yeah. We have
And
quite a few.
brought up the top or the idea of, hey, let's get together and talk about this on the podcast. I know I've heard you talk about it in your classes before, um, and you talk a good bit about marketing, and you'll
Mhm.
get into this idea of like market message and medium. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, for me, you end up with shop owners that start out as technicians, for a lot of them, and the thought process of, "I just gotta fix cars and be good at it, and that's gonna be enough." It isn't, because there's just this sea of sameness in our industry, even to the point where I watch a client, starting to do a website, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "No. I mean, who did you steal this from? Who did you steal that from?" Because that's what we do. We basically Frankenstein a website from about 10 other ones we saw, instead of sitting down and really coming up with who we are.
Yeah.
Right? Who are we? What do we stand for? Who do we serve? And if you can start to understand that that is so important, because Brian, you do speaking, I do speaking, right? We do training and such. We both have haters. Like, there are some
Mhm.
people that do not like us, and that's okay,
Yeah.
right? My goal is not to be liked by everybody. That would be a goal I could not ever achieve. Um, but I want to find the people that are my people, and I want them to know that I'm there. And that's what it's really about. You're not there to fix every vehicle. You're there to find the people that love what you do everything you recommend, and then refer other people to you. That's that is my avatar of an ideal client on a very high level.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
You talk about the sea of sameness and people basically who did you steal this website from? And we have on multiple occasions, and look, when I say multiple occasions, it's been 2 or 3 times over a 10-year period, but we've had people come to us with a document of content that they literally went and took from other websites and said, this is the content I want on my on my website. And we're like, no. Absolutely. I mean, it's in many cases, or I say in many cases, like the document that they would give us, it still had the other company's name
Names.
in it.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, why?" And we'd have to go through this process of explaining to them. And for us, it's primarily it's like search engine optimization. SEO is not going to like this. But to what you're talking about, you want to attract that client that is going to be the client that is going to like they're going to work with you best.
Yeah.
And the shop down the street, they are not the same as you.
No. And you shouldn't want to be the same as them,
Mhm.
right? Mark Twain once said that comparison is the death of joy. And I see it all the time. I was recently talking to a shop owner that felt this big because they were comparing themselves. They're in business 5 years and they're comparing themselves to a shop that's been in business 29 years.
Yeah.
It's just not two different markets, two different specialties. I mean, where do you draw a comparison there? Right? Instead of just saying, hey, wow, nice job, and then watching what could I pick up from this? Why do we got to internalize that and make us feel like, wow, this I suck when you don't,
Yeah.
right? You really don't. And it's getting to a point where you've got to understand who your market is. That's a big part of it. Okay. So you find the people that love what you do. The question is, what do you do? See, one of the things when I start my marketing training, I ask this question, and it's amazing how many people get uncomfortable. As a prospective customer, why would I drive by 3 other shops to do business with you?
Mhm.
The majority, and I'm talking almost all the time, the answer I get is, I don't know. And if you don't, how the hell are they ever gonna know?
Yeah.
Right? There's just no way for that to happen. So people are value. 80% of the population. I was going to say consumers and population at the same time, but 80% of the consumers out there are value shoppers. They want the best bang for the buck. They don't want the cheapest price. The problem is they're not going to look for the value. You, as the provider, have to be able to present the value. And here's the thing that gets really wonky about that, Brian, is I'll talk to a shop owner and they'll say, well, what are the benefits of doing business with you? And we have a loaner car. And don't get me wrong, loaner cars are amazing.
Mhm.
Okay. But I looked at them and I said, well, what if I am bringing my car to you and I have 4 other cars sitting at home?
Yeah.
If that's the only arrow in the quiver, you're in trouble. You got to have a bunch of different arrows in the back of your quiver ready to pull out when and if you need them. It's almost like Hawkeye. He knew exactly which arrow he was pulling out and what the tip on it was and everything else just by feel. What I'm getting at, and here's the hard part, we think that this is our value. But the problem is we don't get to decide value. We get to decide what we present, but it's the consumer that decides the value. And it's going to be different for every person. So, how do I figure out what they value? By slowing down and actually talking to them, like listening, understanding prior history with other conversations, as well as this particular. I know that this is a pretty good likelihood that they're going to be interested in this and this. And, something, it sounds like they're in a real hurry. Sounds like speed of service is going to be something I don't want to talk about. So I can start to tailor my message so that number one, they feel seen and heard and appreciated, but they're like, wow, he gets me.
Yeah.
Right. And it all starts right there at the beginning.
And one of the big pushbacks that I get from shop owners when we talk about these things is, well, I don't want to alienate everyone else. What do you say to that?
Yeah, you do. Just here's the thing. So when I had my shop, our avatar was female head of household, 30 to 50 years old, married, both professionals, owned 2 cars, 5 to 10 years old, Asian domestic. They had 2 kids in grade school. Okay. Making $70,000 a year, which back then was cool, right?
Mhm.
Now, everything I did for marketing was to that avatar, to their problems and how I solved them better than anybody else.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you have the proper avatar. Instead of using a shotgun method of marketing, you can go in with a sniper rifle because I know exactly who my target is. I know what their problems are because marketing, in its truest sense, is simply identifying a problem someone has and then telling them that you can take care of it. Right? That's really all it is. So
Mhm.
if you can step back and say, okay, these are my people, these are their problems, and here's how I am uniquely able to help them, man, it just gets easy. Now, if a single guy with a Mustang came in with a slip and clutch on his car, I'm not going to throw him out, right? Like if we can talk but I'm not going after him, if that makes sense.
Right.
That's the difference, right? And
Sure.
you'll be amazed. So you want to know, Brian, can I tell you some of the marketing things I did?
Please.
Okay. So guess what I went after? And this is going to sound really bad for a second. I went after the kids, right?
Yeah.
So I started teaching junior achievement to second graders. And I did that because I felt like we were about the same mental level. It worked out well. I did that for 7 years. In the wintertime, Christmas time, we had a thing called the holiday stroll. And the different neighborhoods in the city, and the city was small, 2 by 2 miles. They would have these little stops that the trolleys would stop at. And, the families would get out and do crafts and stuff like that. So it was myself, a glass company, and an insurance company. We went on a petting zoo. Okay.
Hmm.
Who am I going after?
The kids.
Kids, right?
Yeah.
But I went one step further. So when I got there the first year, not knowing, a newbie, I didn't get it. I watched this guy set everything up. He put all the chain link up and everything like that. And he put the animals in, and then he puts these little machines out. They look like bubblegum machines, right? 25 cents. And you get a little thing like this, a feed. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So the next year I went up to him and I said, how much money do you make with that bag of feed? How much money will you make in the day selling the feed? He goes, I'll make $500 if I sell the whole bag. I said, I'll give you 600 for the bag. Take the machines away.
Hmm.
So I gave him $600 for the bag. And then I had a table and I had a little sign that just said compliments at Tremont Street Garage. And we would give the kids a bigger portion of the stuff for absolutely free. And I was there in uniform all day long, just handing the stuff out. Never talked about the shop, right?
Yeah.
Uh, then they had another thing in the fall called the Victorian Fair, shut down the center of town. Everybody would come in, 38,000 people. I mean, there was a ton of people in this thing. And I always wanted to be there. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? So I called the police station up and I said, do you have a kid care program? Are you run that? And he goes, no, we don't have anybody host it. I said, if I pay for it, will you help me run a canopy? They gave you a 10 by 10 spot with a canopy. They said, I said, would you help me run it? And they went, yeah, this would be awesome. I said, well, we'll keep a police officer there with you the whole time and everything like that. They ran safety videos. We had contests for different things for giveaways. And we had the setup for the Polaroid camera and the whole 9 yards. And it was funny because I'd go up to the kids and at the time I was like 6'3" and, big boy. And the kids didn't want anything to do with me. And then the cop comes up and they're like, oh yeah, nope, we're good. So my daughter was 7 years old at the time and she was dressed up in this big Victorian dress that my wife had made. And she took over 1,000 pictures that day. But who was I going after?
The kids.
Right. And in the process, I actually had one guy come into me one day and I asked him, how did you hear about us? He goes, oh, my daughter told me about you. And I said, oh, really? Where's your daughter? He goes, oh, you teach her junior achievement. I went, wait a second. I just want to be clear here. A second grader is influencing a purchase decision on auto repair. And he went, yeah. And I went, dude, you're screwed.
Well,
He goes,
it's
what do you
not.
mean? Wait till
Oh,
she's a teenager, I said.
yeah. It's not that dissimilar from what we did at our shop, Peak Automotive. And, our whole tagline was the Triangle's most female friendly shop.
Mhm.
And, so we were like our target audience were professional women or, uh, you know, stay at home moms.
Mhm.
And one of the things that we did was we helped the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts earn their car care badge. And we would have a troop that would come into our shop after hours. All the technicians stayed. We were not telling them, like, we were not trying to sell anything when we did
Mhm.
that. We're just working with their kids, teaching them about cars, helping them get their car care badge. And people were constantly coming in after that, and we'd ask them, "How did you find out about us?" "Oh, I was here with my kid for the merit badge
Yep.
workshop." And when you can, like, when you show people that you care about their kids and their kids are interacting with your team and, having a good time, people, like, they flock to that.
Because it doesn't feel businessy,
Yeah.
right? It's just like, "Hey, man, you're a human being." Like, one of the coolest things I ever saw, Jim Bastone, great guy, Pittsburgh, had a shop out there. He's passed. I walked into his shop one day. I was out there doing some Dave Doremus training. I don't know if anybody remembers Dave. He was awesome. And a friend of mine and I walked into a shop, and right as you walk in, right on the wall, they got all the ASE certificates. But next to the ASE certificate was like a professional portrait of the technician and their families.
Mhm.
So I talked to Jim and he said, "Yeah," he says, "I want people to feel like it's families serving families." And it was
Yeah,
such a
that's good.
powerful statement. It was awesome, right?
Yeah.
People, and I said, "How do you do it?" He goes, "I just once a year, I pay the studio for the sitting. I'll buy the package, but I get one picture." So the family gets a professional studio every year. It's on the company. I get one picture. And I'm like, this is awesome, especially for women. And forgive me, I'm a man for sounding like this, but my experience has been women love the memories and the pictures and stuff like that, right?
Oh my gosh, if you walked into my house, we were laughing about this with friends over the weekend. There are more pictures of my family and memories all over the wall. Um, there's a company that Kim uses, and I'm blanking out on the name of it right now, to print all of these pictures, and they're everywhere. Like, she keeps
Ooh.
this company in business. But I mean, you're right, for the most part. That is true.
Yeah. So if you understand who your people are, it makes it a lot easier to go after. The message is tighter. You're speaking directly to them because if you're trying to be everything to everybody, nothing lands.
Yeah.
It's too vanilla. You don't want vanilla advertising. You want pistachio advertising.
When we will meet with a client, we will ask them, "Who's your ideal client?" And usually they're, "Oh, anyone with a car." And that is, like, the last thing that you want is anyone with a car. And those of you who are listening, if you think about it, anyone with a car. Some of the worst clients that you've ever had, they had a car. And you don't want more clients like that. But you think about your best clients and they're completely different than those worst clients.
Yep.
What can you do to hone in on that? And when we're talking through this, a lot of times the first things that people come back with is like, "Oh, it's our customer service that sets us apart." Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's true, but that's what everybody says. Everyone claims their customer service is the best, or we're honest. Is there anyone out, like, any shops out there that are not going to tell you they're honest?
Even well, here's the cool thing. I say it all the time. They say, "Oh, we use quality parts." And I'm like, dude, do you know a shop in your area that doesn't use quality parts? And they're like, yeah. And I said, I'm willing to bet their advertising says quality parts. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just one of those things. You can't do that. And one of the things I picked up years and years ago, decades ago, The Sales Bible by Jeffrey Gitomer. Great book. He said that when you say something about yourself, you're bragging. But if somebody else says it about you, it's proof,
Yeah.
right? And this is where testimonials and stuff work so hard. And one of the things I think it's really important with the message that you send out, the message should not we all over itself,
Explain.
right? So I call it the spotlight test. When you're looking at your website, your advertising, how many times do you use the name of the shop, team, we, our, us?
Mm.
versus you,
Yeah.
your, right?
Yeah.
Because when you market and you're saying all this stuff about you, it's informational, okay? And it doesn't connect. It just goes like this. But if you can turn the subject from you so that you're not the main part of the message, and you turn it to them, and it's you're going to experience this, you're dealing with this. Now they're like, holy crap, he gets me.
Yeah.
And what you do whenever you use you marketing, as they're reading it, they are painting a picture of them doing business with you just by reading the marketing.
Hmm.
It's really powerful.
Yeah. And there's a great book on that exact thing, for those who want to read it, called Building a Story Brand, by
Oh,
Donald Miller,
Donald Miller,
where he really
don't be
digs
the
into that
hero.
idea of making your client the hero of
Mhm.
their own story.
You're the guide.
Yep. So, w- when well, what are some of the interesting ways that you have seen some shops set themselves apart? Obviously, we've talked about the shops that cater towards women, or the shops that want to show off the whole family aspect, which still probably catering towards women. But what are some interesting things that you've seen?
Well, I can tell you for us, we were very family friendly. We had Tootsie Roll lollipops
Mhm.
for the kids. And we would always ask the parent really quiet so the kid wouldn't hear us. And it was actually funny. One time I went and asked, and she said yes. So we get this big box from Costco, and they're Tootsie Roll Pops, so they're cool. And I open it up. You would think the kid was trying to solve the world economic issue. They took so much deliberation in picking out which lollipop they're gonna take.
Mhm.
This kid pulls lollipop out, and he looks up at his mom, and he says, "This place is a lot better than that last place we went to." So yeah, that was a red face moment for her. But dog treats, we had dog treats, we had lollipops for the kids, we had coffee station, hot chocolate, tea. Um, I've seen some of our clients have given carnations out. They give carnations out in the morning.
Mhm.
When people are dropping off their car, they just like a little thing, and the little water. It's the little, I don't know what they call them, but
Yeah, it looks like
um,
a test tube.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And they just hand them a carnation.
Yeah.
I've seen other people. I have a client that when there's a car seat in the back, they have these little stuffed animals,
Yeah.
and the shirt has the company logo on it. And when they go to put the child back in the car seat, there's a little stuffed animal sitting in the car seat, and they just do that every time. Their focus is the family.
Mhm.
Um, let's see what else. Um, if you're family focused, having someone that has certification in car seat installation,
Yeah.
uh, running car seat rodeos, and free inspections. It opens up a whole new market that you can partner with as far as obstetricians and hospitals. In my area, the only place that does that is the fire station, and the guy that does it, there's one guy in it. I swear to God, he only works one day a month. So getting that certified is hard, but being able to go after again, what's your market?
Yeah.
Once you understand what your market is, it makes this so much easier. Um,
A lot
just
of
get in
times
front of Go ahead, I'm sorry.
a lot of times the market kinda goes with the type of vehicle that you work on also. It
Mhm,
doesn't, like, sometimes you are marketing specifically to people who drive BMW, for example, or Porsche. I look at, one of, someone who was a past client of mine, John Ferguson. He's got a diesel shop in California, and he does dyno days out there. They bring out a dynamometer, um, and you can bring your truck, run it on the dyno, and people that are into the diesel world, especially the performance diesel, they are
mhm.
coming out there because they want to see these 2,000 horsepower trucks run on the dyno, or they want to run their own truck on the dyno. So
It's
it's not
almost
it's not
Yeah,
always you know family or catering to women. Like
no,
what's the thing that you do really well in your shop?
yeah. it's almost like the punching bag at the bar.
Yeah.
You know that game where you hit the bag and it shows you how hard you hit it?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And you're right, you gotta know who your client is. It doesn't mean it's, stuffed animals, but being able to know what really makes a difference. For the European market, setting up car shows, like a Sunday morning
Mhm.
coffee and cars kind of thing. If you're going after women, having a lipstick and dipstick clinic. There's all different kinds of things you can do beforehand. Having a new driver um, class or session where they come in and you teach them the basics on their vehicles. There's so many amazing opportunities. And see, as I'm sitting here, I start thinking, and I'm just like, well, we could do this, or we could do this, or we could do this. It's the coach's mindset. I think it just starts to. There's so many different things you can do, and once you understand what the market, your avatar is, it makes it a lot easier, right? So it's market, message, and I say method, but method or medium is the same thing.
Mhm.
So it's market and message. And again, the message has got to be focused on their problem, their core problems, and how do you ideally solve them for them? How do you make life easier for them? That's what marketing is really all about.
Yeah.
You have a problem, I have a solution, and you're going to love it. So I tell people all the time there's only one thing worse than not marketing, and that's marketing something you can't consistently deliver,
Mm.
right? Because that'll kill reputation.
Yeah.
So get clear. It doesn't mean your shop has to be perfect. In fact, the best way to deal with that is when you're talking to a new customer or potential customer, you tell them, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, this is what you're going to get, this is what you're going to get, and this is what you're going to get. Now, guess what they focus on? One, two, three, four, five. So I'm going to talk about the things I do really, really well. And like some of the stuff we're going to fix, some of the stuff is just going to stay back there. We're not even going to worry about it. Right. Like some shit's just going to burn. And that's okay. But we want to make sure it's stuff that we're solving their problems.
So for the shop owner who just doesn't know, like they do not know what makes them different,
Mhm.
what do you suggest to them to figure that out?
Find your very best clients, and the way we do that is the three steps, the three things I talked about before. They respect you, and you love working for them with them. They do everything you ask them to do, and they refer clients. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're going to find there's very few people that meet all three things. So once that happens, you're going to identify those people, and then you're going to go out. You're going to say, hey, can we meet for coffee? Can we go for lunch? And you're going to sit down, you're going to talk to them. Because one of the things one of my favorite quotes to this is you can't read the label when you're inside the jar.
Mm.
The reality is you could have only a perspective of what you provide.
Yeah.
You don't get the perspective of what they get. You
A
need that,
good analogy.
right? So you need somebody from the outside that says, no, no, you do this.
Mhm.
No, no, you do that. For years as a coach, someone would ask me, Rick, what do you do? We increase profits, increase free time, and, lower stress, decrease stress. Said that for years, right? And keep increasing lives. I'm sorry, increasing profits, transforming lives. Um, and then Brenda did a survey. Brenda's my wife. Um, and she did a survey of past and current clients. And over again, the people talked about the impact it had at home.
Mm.
Like, I'm a better husband, I'm a better father, I'm a better son, I'm a better friend. And it's because when you look at the skills to operate a business properly, they're the same as the ones at home, right?
That's one of
So
the
you
things that I've seen from the outside looking in that differentiates you in your coaching company is that you look at the whole person.
Mhm.
And so I'm sorry, I probably cut you off. I'm guessing that
No.
became something that you're marketing or
Well, it's
promoting.
something that we've really concentrated on, right? So we're coaching with community. We have an amazing community. One of our clients has a shop on the island west of, I think it's Santa Ana Island, right off of the coast of Sarasota down in Florida. And the uh, the hurricanes that went through 2 Octobers ago, they ended up with 4 feet of water in their shop, ruined everything.
Yeah.
Within 48 hours, the group had set up a private GoFundMe page and we raised $17,000
Nice.
just to help them get back on their feet. And less than a month later, one of our newer clients had a family member pass away suddenly, and they didn't have the money to take care of it. And they were up in the Northeast, and the family members down in Florida. Within 24 hours, the group raised $15,000.
Yeah.
That's the kind, like, we're coaching with community. We do life together. That's one of my core beliefs, our values in our company is we do life together. Are we perfect? No, but we're good and we do a good job.
Yeah.
And we make a mistake, we make it right.
Well,
You know.
I can vouch for that because I know a lot of your clients and I see the relationships that they have with each other.
Hmm.
And it's a cool thing.
It's
So
amazing.
one of the, like what you're talking about with the clients, we actually put in place a client advisory panel
Hmm.
for our shop. Kim did that, um, and they had some perks for being on that advisory panel. But most of the time, if you ask somebody to do that, they're honored, like they want to do it. And we recently we started a client. We just finished our first year with our client advisory panel here at Shop Marketing Pros, and the information that you will get from those clients, like it will help you to steer your decisions that you're making in the business. But the other thing that we tell people, and it's so easy now with AI, is to go look at what people are saying in the reviews that they leave you. Used to do this, we would have to like compile them
Hmm.
and look for commonalities. And then it was compile them, put them in a spreadsheet, run them all through AI and say what are the common things that people are saying. Well, now you don't even need to compile it. You can use AI, tell it go scrape my Google business profile for all of my reviews and tell me what people are saying about me. And that's a place where you can find out how you're different. What are people saying about you?
Yeah. The thing we got to be really careful about that though is you, and I talk about this a lot, communication skills, is you don't want to listen to somebody else's words and apply your meaning.
Mm, yeah.
You want to understand what they mean, right?
Yep.
Um, it when you like if you can sit back on that and just let like tumble that thought in your head for a little bit, you know. A great example is you're going to hire a technician and you tell them they need to be on time. You understand what I mean? And they go, "Yep." And the first day they get there, they punch in at 8:00.00, and then they go to the bathroom for half an hour, and then they get a cup of coffee, and they change their clothes, say hi to everybody, and about 9:30, they're ready to start, and you're twisted up tighter in a jelly roll, right?
But they were there on time.
They were on 'cause they did not have the same definition of on time,
Yeah.
and that is the mistake of listening to someone else's words and applying your meaning. So we wanna be able to be very, very clear about what does this mean, right? And probably the best way, and this is the thing about the interview, is going down and sit down with people and talk. Even if you do it over a Google Meet or Zoom or whatever it is, but I find in person is better.
Mhm.
Um, it creates more of a connection. Like, these people are gonna walk in, they love you already, and they're gonna walk out, like, first of all, you're gonna buy them lunch or whatever it is, but their feet aren't gonna touch the ground for about 3 months. They're gonna be so happy. And it's funny because shop owners are genuinely scared to have these conversations. I'm like, no, these people love you. You're going to love these conversations. Just do them. And
But gosh, even the ones who are willing to be like that don't love you, that are willing to be honest with you, that is some of the best information you can get. And yeah, it sucks getting, hearing that kind of stuff, but
it's not,
that's what
I don't
allows you
know,
to become better.
but I don't think it sucks. I think it's humbling. And if
Yeah.
we can change the wording on that, I think that makes a difference. It's humbling.
For
But
sure.
the reality is they're pointing out a blind spot you're not aware of, and you've gotta either agree to, like, "Okay, that's my blind spot, and I'm not gonna do anything." Because there's some things in a business, like, people want a perfect business. Ain't no such thing,
So,
and, I want everything fixed. Ain't gonna happen. Like, I know there's gonna be stuff 20 years from now in my business. Yes, I'll still be doing this, and I'll be better than I am today,
mhm,
but there's gonna be some stuff in my business that's burning today is gonna be burning in 20 years because it's not worth fixing.
yeah.
Like, there's no return on it, right? If Why would I fix something that's not gonna give me a return? Why am I gonna invest time, money, and energy into something that's not gonna help us move forward, to grow, to become better? So, you just gotta recognize that. But when you're having that conversation, ask questions and then go deeper. Don't just take the first answer like, "You guys are really honest." Really, tell me more. Right? Like, I want
Mhm,
them to go deeper. How did it feel? Well, what was it like before us? Right? Because if honesty was a really big deal for them, I'm willing to bet there was a dishonesty over here somewhere. And by being able to dig into that, I'm going to be able to see a really cool picture. And
yeah,
at the end of it, I want to practice reflective listening. And I'm going to say, "So, Brian, what I hear you saying is," and I'm going to come back to you and say, "Here we go. Bam, bam, bam." And you're going to go, "Yeah, that's exactly it." And you're going to feel heard. I'm going to feel great. And in the past, I would take notes. Today, I would just grab my iPhone. But one of the things that's really cool is you want to understand what they're saying, what is important to them, what was the story like before. Like, there's this whole customer journey we talk to people about, right? And I map out the 5 key areas that you've got to get information about, and why does it make a difference? And because this helps us. If you're focused transactionally, you're focused on the vehicle.
mhm.
If you're focused relationally, you're focused on the person. And that is amazing. That's where that's where the riches are, right? Riches are in relationships.
So we
Um,
talked about market and message. Let's get into the method because that's
so
super important to who your client is.
yeah, exactly. And it's going to be very different. So the message, though, again, I want to make sure it's you focused, right? Once you get all this information back, um, instead of taking notes today, I would just record it. Like, I would grab my phone and say, "Hey, is it okay if I record this so I can, instead of taking notes, I can just be fully present with you right now?"
Mhm,
Right? And then I can shove those suckers into, I can shove the transcripts into ChatGPT or something like that and say, "Hey, pull out some really cool stuff," and it's going to be pretty amazing, right? So then we go to method or medium, and that is going to be really particular to where you're at. So I'll give you an example. I was showing a marketing class, and I had some yellow page ads up. And someone said, "You got to update this class." And I went, "Why?" And they said, "Because you got yellow pages." I said, "Great. So what if you live where I live and there's not a lot of internet available?" My house, I have 4 internets at my house because they all suck. Just genuinely great. I'm grateful. They don't typically do it all at the same time, right? But I can flip through 4 different internets at my house because I live in the country and there's nothing available.
yeah.
Okay. So guess what people use out there? Yellow pages. Or let's say I'm down in Sarasota, Florida,
Mhm.
right? That's where people go to die. And they don't, like, my mom does not have great internet skills, right? She's 80. How old is my mom now? 80. She'll be 84 this year.
Yeah.
She does not have great internet skills. Guess what she uses? She uses the phone book.
My
See,
mom passed away at the end of last year, and she used the phone book and never used a computer. Well, I have to take that back. My sister bought her a laptop and put like a slot machine game on it,
oh,
and
there you go.
it had to work without the internet because she would not touch anything that was connected to the internet, but she still used her yellow pages.
Yeah. So this is kind of listening to someone else's words. and applying your meaning. Just because you're in a big city or you got internet and your average demographic is 30 years old to 35 years old, that's great, but
Yeah.
not everybody has that, right?
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't matter like social media, like, do I go on TikTok talk? Do I do this? Do I do that? Go where your ideal client is. Well, I don't know where they go. I know how you can fix that. You ask. You ask, like, "Well, what do you like to read? Are there any magazines you like to read? What radio stations do you listen to? Like, what playlists are you playing with?" All these different things that you can go through. What, I don't know, what social media do you like to hang out on? Getting that information is super, super important. To give you an idea, back in the day, and I had the shop from my second shop from 95 to 2002. One of the things we did is when we started the car, the technician would document the radio station.
Hmm.
Why do you think I wanted that?
Yep. You know where to
Right?
advertise.
So I know where to advertise. I mean, that you just gotta pay attention, right?
Yeah.
Um, and just see what they hang out. What do they like to do in off times? Where do they go? What do they like to do in their free time? This is called psychographics. This is not demographics. This is psychographics. This is how they behave, right? Demographics are where they live, how much money they make, etc. Physical stuff. Psychographics, it's how they behave. And being able to step back and understand. And what's amazing about this is you're going to find commonalities. Like I was doing this with a shop owner and he was really frustrated because he had gone through 10 clients and he was really just like, I don't see any commonality. So we went through it and I went through each one, tell me about the notes on each one. And we got about three-quarters of the way through, and I went, "Dude, you know what you got going on here, right?" And he goes, "No." I said, "Okay, let's step back, take a breath." He goes, "Okay." I said, "Your avatar is 40 to 50 years old, and they own their own business." 8 out of 10 of his best clients were small business owners.
Mm. Talk about a perfect avatar.
And he didn't even know it. So now do I wanna put, Facebook on there and stuff like that? Probably not. I wanna join BNI leads groups and Chamber of Commerce and where I'm gonna get in front of my avatar. But once you understand what your avatar who you not what, who your avatar is, it's really gonna help you figure out what's going on.
And
And,
what a lot
it's
of
funny.
people don't understand about this is that you can use this information to change who
Mm,
your client is. Like if you have a lot of, and I'm just going to use the term we used to use back in the day of bottom feeders, people who they're there for the cheap oil change. If you offer that, they're never doing anything, to their car. They're always telling you about how they can get the part cheaper online and all that. And you want to shift to an avatar that is not going to do that, then guess what? Start marketing to those people, not the ones that you currently have.
absolutely. Because if you have a lot of those people, it's either your pricing or your message,
Yeah.
right? And you just gotta look at it, and I say this all the time, if you're not getting the client you want, right, it's like fishing. You're either going after the wrong fish, you got the wrong bait, or you're in the wrong place,
Yeah.
right? I'm
And
not gonna
and
go
not having a
ocean.
message is a message.
Oh, yeah, you're just like everybody else, and now the only thing you can compete on is price, and that's a race to the bottom, but if you can step back, differentiate yourself, you actually start to make more money because the people that love you see you as more valuable than any other place out there.
Mhm.
And, it's funny. I was talking to my daughter last night. My daughter is an amazing artist, just amazing. And we were talking last year. She's really working on getting off. She has a full time job. And last year she did about 4 grand. And like she makes these fan art stickers and stuff.
Mhm.
And I was talking to her last night and I said, you need to up your prices. Like on that $4,000, she made $700.
Mm.
I said, "You need to triple to 5x your pricing." "Dad, nobody'll buy." I went, "Yeah, they will, just the better ones." And I said to her, I said, "You need to get, like, some limited edition, like, this is one of 100, signed by the artist, and sell them for $100. And she goes, Dad, nobody would buy them. I said, I'd be in your booth. I'd sell them out. $100. They're going to take a picture with you with it, holding the piece together, and you're going to sign it in front of them. And I said, you'll get 50 of those at $100, and you'll make more in one show than you did all of last year doing less work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's because you got to make things less available. You got to know who you are. You got
Well,
to
it's
know who
perceived
you can
value.
help.
If
What's
I
that?
see it's perceived value also. If I see something that's cheap or inexpensive, I don't really perceive much value in that.
Yeah.
You could you could take the same product without me knowing about it, mark the price. It's like the Payless shoe store thing. I don't have you ever seen so Payless opened up a like a pop-up shop, and I think it was New York City. If it wasn't New York, it was some, Beverly Hills or Chicago or something in a fancy area, and they gave it a fancy name, and they took a bunch of their shoes from Payless and put them in there, and people started coming in, and they're looking at these shoes, thinking that they're like high-end designer shoes, and they fell in love with the shoes.
Hmm.
And it's perception. You put a $1,200 price tag on a pair of $30 shoes. If nobody knows they're $30 shoes, they're gonna be wowed by them.
Well, how much do you think they pay for the $1,200? I mean, how much do you think the $1,200 shoes cost?
Yeah, not much.
It ain't much more than 30, right?
Yeah,
And here's the thing, a lot of times people will see a low price and go, "Nah, they're not gonna be any good." Whereas there's almost always an unconscious, if it's more expensive, it's better.
mhm,
I just gotta believe it, and that was one of the things I talked to my daughter about. I said, "Nobody's gonna value what you do until you do."
yeah,
Right? You gotta know your value up front, and that's super important, that confidence and just that, "I'm here to help, but I really don't care if you do anything,"
mhm,
kinda attitude. I don't wanna sound wrong with that, but when you don't have a horse in the race, there's nothing to trigger you. You just sit down, you say, "Hey, this is what's going on." But being able to identify, you can do it by make, you can do it by, you can do it by work you do, the type of work you do, you can do it by the kind of client you wanna work with. But each and every one of these is gonna have a different medium, and you're gonna find some common ones. It's like if you did a scatter diagram, you're gonna have a couple out here, a couple outliers out here, but you're gonna find 3 or 4 things that are right here in the middle, and it's like, "Okay, this is where you wanna be."
yeah,
Then you just get really good about making sure your message is you focused, so that not you, the shop owner, but the client focused, and see them so that nobody buys a problem. I say that a lot. Nobody buys a problem, they buy solutions.
yeah,
So you want to identify the problem, but you want to sell the solution, right? And that's what's really cool. Gittimer says you want to get them talking about them solving their problem with you as the solution. And I think that's important.
yeah. Well, Rick, thank you, for being on today. This has been great. I think if our listeners will take this advice and go put it in place, they'll
Mhm.
see big impact on their business.
Yeah, I think it's really important, Brian. Marketing hasn't changed. We're still people serving people. And I think with all the different mediums out there today, the Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and da 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 da, it can get overwhelming. But if you just step back and you understand, who do I serve the best? And when I look at that, not only do I serve the best, but I'm profitable,
Yeah,
right? It doesn't matter. Like if I'm doing engine jobs all day long and not making money doing those, I don't want to do them. So you want to make sure it's work you're profitable at, the people you can help that really appreciate you, and then you go after more of those people. And it's absolutely amazing what can happen. It's a long-term play. It takes time. You're not going to put one ad out and see it turn around. It's going to be 6 months to a year, but a year later, you're going to turn around and go, holy crap, this is
yeah.
pretty cool. So,
Well, thank you. For anyone who's listening and they want to find out more about coaching with you, how should they do that?
if they have questions or they want to sit down and talk, um, there you can go to Rick at, I'm sorry, you can email Rick at 180biz.com. You can go to our website, 180biz.com. We're going to be at the Texas two-step training, March 21st to 28th. We're going to be at the Accelerate program, down in Florida for Flocka, April 16th and 17th, I think it is. We're going to be at Tools. Going to be in Brazil in July teaching. So yeah, we're all over the place. So
All
feel
right.
free, 180biz.com or rick at 180biz.com.
Awesome. Well, thank y'all for listening in on this episode. Remember, we are one of a handful of podcasts on the Automotive Repair Podcast Network. You can find the others at automotiverepairpodcastnetwork.com. I hope you'll listen in again next week. Until then, go fill those bays.
Go make some money.